Yeah, how's that for volume? I bet you that did it. Someone let me know. Okay, and I needed to fix something else. YouTubing is hard. Let's see, what the hell was I going to do? I was going to do something. I don't remember what I was going to do. It was some. Oh yeah, I was going to fix the chat. There you go. Let's pop that out. Let's get that address. Yeah, this is all stuff you're supposed to do, you know, so that, well, it's stuff you're supposed to do. We'll just say that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to you, and then I'm going to pop you, and I'm going to tag you. I'm going to post that link in there. I'm going to hit OK. And now my chat's going to start working. So all your little words will show up on the screen. At least they should anyway. Pa-cha-cha! Just like magic. Okay. Sounds great now. KY Patriot Prepper. Love it. Thank you for showing up, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. I didn't mention it in a video, but I've been watching some of your stuff. I think you have a. Do you have a channel, KY? I hate saying that. That's anyway. It's fun. It's fun. Lima Charlie. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, I got. Well, I tell you what. Have you guys heard of? I'm just going to start here. Have you guys heard of this new social media channel or site called Getter? Gettr. Someone threw it out at me, and it's mostly centrist or conservative values type things. I haven't seen any negative stuff on it, but how about that cloudy day? Oh yeah, you like my thunderclap, huh? Above, that's a cool name. I love these people on Twitter that actually got that, like they get like their name Tanya, you know, and she owns it. No one else can use it. It's just Tanya or Al or Bob or something like that. But so very, very small channel, just starting. I got you, bro. Well, I'm going to look at your stuff. I think everybody needs a boost. I think start someplace. You know, I've been streaming, you know, before anybody even knew Local Prepper. I've had several YouTube channels. I was a professional gamer for a long time after I got out of the military. It's just something I always wanted to do, you know. Nothing will happen. Six pack. I love you, man. Check out JWTV. Hey, we'll throw a link in there above. I'm interested. I'm sure everybody else is. You know, if it's won't be a crash. I don't know, man. Community. I'm self-taught, and I can only go off of what I see and understand. And as preppers, if we're not in that space, then we don't really understand anything. We just kind of like, oh shit, they say something's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't. A lot of people are like that. Also, if my video starts to act wonky, I got the big yellow thing on my OBS saying your video's in trouble. Don't worry, the sound will keep going. It may drop, but it'll come right back. It'll just look like I'm transmitting from 1955. Yes, I'm in the woods. Cell phones can actually do this stuff, believe it or not. No, I'm not in a cell phone. I'm just using cellular technology. Anyway, back to what Six Pack was saying. Well, my stream just dropped, and it looks like it's back. Okay, so back to what Six Pack was saying. You know, there is some. I was doing some reading today after I finished another video, which will actually air. Well, will come tomorrow as soon as I figure out what the best time to launch it is. It's either going to be 3 or 6 or 9. Everybody like 3, 6, and 9 on YouTube for some reason. But anyway, so the crash that Six Pack says will never happen. Well, here's the thing: we have crashes in inevitable situational design. That's where we're going to tighten that tinfoil hat again. But there are people that think that way. Me, it's very difficult to put my finger on it, but I believe in understanding all possibilities. But back to what Six Pack is talking about. He believes that nothing's going to happen because the government will never let it happen. Well, the government almost got caught with their pants down in 2008. They literally did. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, it's all very true. And the guy who saw it all coming, he's been on Twitter again, and he is throwing out warnings. Now we've got the guy who does all the gold and silver and crypto. He's saying, hey, it's time to start doing something. What that is, I don't know. Maybe there's things that I don't understand. But I read an article today, and I actually have that queued up for you guys, that talks about how there's a difference in how the American government deals with the too big to fail versus the Chinese government, and they're completely different. I can tell you that today, that the company who owns, was it Evergrande, Fantasia, they were downgraded to just a smidge above insolvent by all the major credit bureaus that handle billions and billions of dollars. So that's a small problem. Obviously the Chinese government will step in and prop them up somehow. But I mean, how long can they do that? How long can they do that? And they have problems too. We just see their problems here in America. We see their problems in different forms. The biggest form, Godspeed, I hope so. But the biggest thing that we see in America are these ships that are piling up at the port. And I've got a video I'm going to throw out for you guys that I really want you to watch. And if you guys do not follow the Economic Ninja, you really need to start doing it. The guy's incredibly smart, he's humble, and he is Johnny on the spot when he knows something. And he's got the connections to back it all up. I got a video I'm going to throw up for you guys here in a few minutes, but I wanted to go back to what Six Pack is talking about because, hey, dude, I am all about discourse. If you want to tell me that the sky is not going to fall and I think it is, hey, I want to know why, and I'm going to go find out why if you don't tell me. And no, I don't expect you to write me a paragraph on anything like that. What I'm saying is that if you disagree and I disagree, in the middle we agree that there's certain things that are going to be causing problems, that's discourse. So jumping back to Getter, I was curious if you guys were interested in it. It literally is here. I'll throw a link in the description. I don't benefit in any way, shape, or form from this, but it's actually on the screen. It's been on the screen the whole time. It's basically it's like a miniature version of Facebook. It's fast. It's not all locked up the way Parler was. And it's still small. I think I have like 4 or 5 followers on it. I've only put like a couple of things on it. But it's got all the major players on it too. So, I mean, you go in, you set up your profile just like any other social media platform. The difference is I like it because it's small. And I think it's on Android, but not on iOS yet. So check it out if you want to. I just figured I'd throw it up there. It's like one of those things, hey, I just found this, you might be interested type of things. What I'm going to do now is, and like we talked about before, here's this article right here. Fantasia downgraded to default status by rating companies as Chinese property sector crisis worsens. So it is... YouTube is not receiving enough video. I need to see if I've got YouTube playing in the background. Give me 1 second. We'll move forward because I need to be able to see if we're getting anything or not. It's funny too because I actually had another. I think it's Practical Prepper. We had talked via his chat about doing a live stream, and I told him, said, listen, man, if you're not into it. You know what I'm saying? If you can't deal with looking at your numbers count in the 1 and 2 for 2 hours, then you don't want to do this. You don't want to do live streams. You want to just keep making videos. You need more people. But on my side, I always look at it from the perspective of is I'm not necessarily doing this for you. I'm doing this more for me. I had a wild hair at my ass. We did that live stream the other day when Facebook decided to crash out, which was unbelievably stupid and hilarious. And we were all waiting. It's like, yes, finally, someone has destroyed the mighty Facebook. But let's see, go to your channel. But it looks like it's working. I hate when the technical difficulties when I have to work through. YouTube is not receiving enough video. I need to see if I've got my feed. All right, so we're going to turn that off. There you go. What are we doing? Oh, that's right. I need that window open. Okay, good. But Fantasia is downgraded, so and that's a problem. Now, what will most likely happen is that we can say the big things. The global economy could feel the effects of China's evergreen crisis. Here's what investors should know. And although if you're not an investor, you may not think it affects you, but it does. I always like to read the bullets. Chinese officials are expecting to stem the spillover from liquidity issues at Evergrande, the country's largest property developer, before it slams the banking system and bleeds into foreign financial centers. So there is going to be an effect. Basically, Evergrande is defaulted. So now the Chinese government, who, unfortunately, it's part of their mentality, but they have to save face now, and to try to maintain their position in the world, and they're going to try and prop this company up, Fantasia. But as I showed you before, Fantasia got downgraded anyway. Missed debt payment by Fantasia this week adds to China's property sector concerns spawned by Evergrande's liquidity crisis. S&P, Fitch, and Moody's, these are all the people that talk about debt, all cut Fantasia to default or nearly default status. So this is actually a pretty serious problem. How does this affect us? Well, we're going to watch this video here in a little while, and it's not going to show you how it affects us in the manner that we think as far as stocks and markets crashing and things like that, which I'm sure Six-Pack will be completely happy to hear. But it's going to affect us in a very different way that a lot of people aren't thinking about. Where we got here? But strategies also say Beijing needs to act quickly to restructure Evergrande because markets are becoming nervous and it is hurting sentiment. So if you don't know anything about the market, people have feelings, and there will be no WRO type crash. Yes, the market will crash and we'll all get our guns. You're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you, ominous dominus, and in this particular case, this will not be a without rule of law type crash. Now, I have been doing a lot of research because there was another prepper out there on YouTube that I was talking with, and he was talking about people rioting in the streets over the dumbest things. And he's absolutely right. They will. Will it create a WRL situation? Probably micro situations, like little bitty ones. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a crowd someplace, or what I'm saying. The way we think about it is a crowd is walking down the street and they decide to come down your driveway because they've heard you have food and they want it. And now you have to do something that you never wanted to do. So, like that type of situation, likely no. But, we've seen what happens on Black Friday, man. We've seen what happens on Black Friday where people are waiting at the doors and they're tearing through shit and they're fighting over the last Cabbage Patch Kid. You know what I'm saying? I think there was a couple years there was actually shootings inside the shopping centers over this stupid, I Rock'em Sock'em Robot, or what, I'm showing my age now. People are getting shot over the last freaking, can of freaking of Play-Doh. It's just the dumbest things. And so there will be situations like that, but they'll be very small. I hate to say it, but likely they'll be in large Democratic ran cities, just where people feel as if they can do whatever the hell they want to do. And another thing we never really think about, too, with this whole WROL thing, and I know I'm starting to get off into left field, but this is the kind of stuff that people want to hear, they want to talk about. It's very simple. And I've lost my train of thought. So, where are we at here? The problems that the property developer could damage Chinese economy and from there also dent the world economy. So yes, there will be ramifications. There will be problems when they default. Now, technically, they've already defaulted and they've already lowered their credit status to a default stage. But I don't know how to say this. It doesn't matter. And here's why. Because the Chinese have been known for changing the value of their currency. So they like to change the rules when the rules don't apply to them anymore. They just, oh, I don't like those anymore. We're going to make some new rules. Right now, all the stuff we used to do before doesn't matter anymore. They like to do that. They also have to save face and try to maintain their position in the world stage. And so what will happen is that the Chinese government are going to do the same thing that we did in 2008, and they're going to bail these guys out. They have to. But we all know that that creates a huge dent in their economy. Now, we don't really know in our brains as Americans what that means in China. You know, you're thinking about this was a real estate company. I mean, how much real estate is in fucking China? But I mean, how many empty buildings do they own, and why? You know, and some of this real estate is here in the United States. So those people are going to feel that stuff. And another thing, too, that we need to really be thinking about, where are we at here? A made in China's financial crisis. I was reading this, and this is really deep stuff here, guys. But there was a couple things that stuck out for me. Here's the combination excessive leverage. Where are we at here? Okay, so in this article, basically the idea is that, you know, a made in China financial crisis. Made, it doesn't really talk to that. It's just an eye-grabbing thing. But right here, this paragraph. First, as foreign investors will not be sheltered. So, if you're a foreign investor in Evergrande, is that the name of Evergrande? You're not sheltered. You have no protection. You've lost your money. So anybody that's in the stock market who's tickling along on the little graph there, and they lose confidence in Evergrande, sell, and then it'll level back out. So, will it happen? We don't know, but everybody is talking about the feelings, and people have to have faith in their stock, in their economy. You know, if you're invested in oranges, and you know that there's cold weather coming and the Arctic storm is on its way, well, you know what? Your futures are going to go down, and it's time to sell while you still have enough money invested. Maybe reinvest after everything dies and, you know, reap the benefits, but it's still going to cause it. Now, when you start to deal with something that is so big that if there's a massive sell-off, then you get that cliff, and that's where you basically, they call it a market correction, but those are very nice words for market crash. The idea is that there's a cliff, and then they crash off of it, and then it levels out back to manageable numbers. So that really stuck out to me right there. First and foremost, investors will not be sheltered. Confidence will take a big hit, especially in China offshore credit market, which is particularly exposed to Evergrande risks. Yeah, that's really big. Then we got here the financial stress in China. Real estate sector spreads beyond Evergrande. So they're already projecting, guys, this is a problem. They're already projecting that this whole Evergrande thing, regardless if the Chinese government props it up or not, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And then where we at here? With Evergrande's managed collapse, Beijing is sending mixed messages to the markets. So basically what they're saying is that the government is, we might stand them up, we might not stand them up. We're not exactly sure just yet, because the Chinese are always very non-committal, they're always very knee-jerk, and they wait till the last second to solve a problem, which is actually a pretty huge problem in general. What do we got here? Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys was a little bit of information that it's not inside. Like I said, if you don't watch the Economic Ninja, you really need to do it. He normally does 2 or 3 videos a day. He's really Johnny on the spot with this stuff. So here's what I want to do is I want to play his video for you guys. And hopefully you'll learn something from it, and then we can go from there. And I might adjust the screen while you're doing all that stuff. So, matter of fact, let's go ahead and make that big for you. And let's push the play button.
All right. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're having a great day. I'm back with Sage. We're talking shipping, we're talking trucking. We got all kinds of things to tell you about. We're going to start with some issues that truck drivers are having. Some of them are deciding to possibly just throw in the towel and give up because of the roadblocks that they're finding, and it's leading to less and less money each day they're making. And then we're going to talk to Sage about his 2 most recent interviews, interviewing people from port on either side of America. Sage, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for having me on again. So
yeah, man. And again, give everybody the name of your YouTube channel so that they know where to come find all this great news you're putting out.
Yeah, just check me out at Sage News on YouTube. I normally comment in there too, so you can actually click on my name in the comment section. But it's just Sage News. And I'm a freight broker. I've been in logistics for over 20 years, and I break everything down. Either I'm doing freight news or I'm doing world news from a logistical view.
Awesome. All right, cool. So one of the things we want to talk about today was this, the issue with the truck drivers that are wanting to throw in the towel. You were talking about it. I thought it was fascinating. Jump right in.
Yeah, basically what's happening, and people don't realize, is that although there's all these tankers container ships are sitting outside the ports and stuff, those have approximately 5,000 cans on them. We call them cans, which are containers. But the issue is that 500,000 that are out there, well, there's also 500,000 have to go on those boats, right? So a lot of thing that's happening is a lot of my shippers that I've been talking to have been calling me and saying, hey, every time we call like the rail yard and things like that, we normally shipped out like 3 containers a week or 4 containers a week, right? Well, or 4 containers a day of freight that they would put on a truck, and then the truck would take it to the rail. Well, the problem is that because we're so backed up and they can't get the rail cars unloaded, they're only shipping out maybe 1 container a week instead of 3 containers a day. And the drivers that are hauling these trips, they can't afford to do 1 container a week. So a lot of these drivers, and the reason they can't, there's no room to put them on the rail because there's no room to take them off the rail and put them on the boats that haven't come in yet. So it's not just a backup at the port, but now it's becoming a backup at getting containers from our shippers, which, to the rail and then to the ships. And a lot of these drivers are just going to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to throw in the towel here. And I can't, there's no need for me to be driving this truck and not making any money. I'll find work elsewhere. And we're going to be losing drivers just to that alone.
Wow, it really is something to think about. We think, like, oh, there's plenty of work for truckers, but is it the right kind of work? Is it making them enough money to not only maintain their vehicle, but actually be able to put bread and food on the table?
Right. And that's something that people don't think about, is those containers getting from the shipper to the boat. If that boat's not there to receive that driver's going to sit there. He can't haul that freight. And at that point, either he finds another job or he moves out of the drainage industry and just does regular freight, or he leaves altogether.
So that's good to know. So let's jump right into the 2 interviews you've done. I know you already posted one of them, so I'd like you to talk about both of those when you interviewed a couple of gentlemen that actually work at the ports.
Yeah. So what I did was I had an interview with somebody from the East Coast out of Savannah, and then I interviewed somebody that works at the port in Long Beach, Los Angeles. And the one in Savannah, because they're starting to get backed up. And so I kind of asked him, but what's happening is container ships, they need to be unloaded and reloaded quickly. That's how they make money. They don't make money sitting around, or they charge fees for that. So, for that, just waiting. So a lot of times what they're doing now is they're bypassing that port and they're coming around and they're building up in Savannah. So now Savannah is getting a little bit of a backup, but Savannah they work 24 hours. And they're able to get some of these ships, in and out a little bit quicker. They can't do the mega ships, but what he is noticing is nothing's going back. Basically just empty cans are going back, empty containers, just as fast as they can get them off. They throw empty containers back on to get that boat out of there. So the shippers don't want to wait for, they don't want to wait for the shippers to get them that can. They're just to load me up, but we got to go. Load me up, we got to go. So that kind of plays a role in that we're not shipping anything out. So we have some of our people that aren't able to get that.
So you make a really good point. First off, Savannah's 24 hours, whereas Long Beach is not, correct?
Correct.
All right. I've also heard stories that some of these shipping companies are now rerouting some of the ships that have been idle, like right behind me right now. This is just a picture of a Long Beach with all those ships hanging out. They're rerouting them right now to the East Coast. Have you heard about that?
Correct. And even the Panama Canal, I've actually done that on my website where I'll show the Panama Canal. There's actually a buildup on both sides of the Panama Canal trying to get these ships through the Panama Canal. So now we have a buildup at the Panama Canal to try to get these ships through to get them over to the East Coast.
Well, the good news is China's already building a second Panama Canal. So pretty soon, people don't even understand that. And it's going to be faster. And oh, gosh. So let's talk about your interview with the gentleman. I know you haven't posted that one yet, but the one in Long Beach.
Yeah, I talked about it to him, and they were on a basically what they're on a schedule that they do a pilot thing that they're trying was Monday to Thursday. They were going to basically work almost what they're calling 2 shifts. So it was like 24 hours Monday to Thursday, but they take breaks in the middle, so it's probably like 22 hours. It's a weird system. But on that side, they're doing with the mega ships, so they're a lot larger ships. And what they're also having a problem with is there's no place to put containers. And so they're running out of room to get things off. And then the other issue that they were having is, I think it was the UP rail line actually stopped taking goods a couple weeks ago because their Chicago one was full. They couldn't take anymore. So now which affected the port. So now the port had no place to put these containers because the rail system was basically not coming to pick up any containers. That one, he kind of feels that after speaking with him is that they're in a more of a push to try to automate that one and kind of bring in self-driving trucks, self-driving gantries, and actually AI and automation on that one. They seem to be pushing for that over there to try to fix the problem, which makes sense. Because Biden brought in the task force, and one of the persons to lead the task force was Obama's transportation person, and who once he left the Department of Transportation, and he went on to work for a company that does AI and automation and smart city technology, and he's the one that Biden put in position to head up that process. So that is possibly what they're looking to go with over there. Now, it's not something you're going to do tomorrow. So what do we do with the freight that's there now? I don't know what their thought process is. They need to be looking short term before they look long term, and it just doesn't seem like they're doing that.
Yeah, and it's still, I think we touched on this last time, it's still going to be so amazing to watch what happens this holiday season. As all of these ships get offloaded, which a lot of people don't think they will get offloaded. They're eventually going to get offloaded. Right. But what's going to happen with all those goods that hit the stores at once? I mean, honestly, I believe there's going to be a lot of people that just go, you know what? I just don't need it right now. I'm seeing way too many other problems in the economy right now. I'm just going to hold back my spending. And I think there's going to be some amazing deals out there.
Yeah. And that's the big thing people need to understand is that a lot of times the goods that are on these are time sensitive goods, meaning, and I think we've talked about this before. You're not going to sell Halloween gifts at Christmas, Halloween decorations and stuff. So anything that's time sensitive, Christmas gifts, things like that, these stores need that money. That's when they turn these big profits. Stores are usually in the red until, Black Friday types, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And that's when they start turn major profits. So it's not just the goods that are coming off. So now you're going to have people not buying, and possibly smaller stores that needed that money are going to fold.
Yeah. Well, let me do this. We can't have this going too long, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows you've got those 2 interviews. One's already out from Savannah. One's coming out from the Port of Long Beach. And I want to get people to your channel. So we already showed them how they can follow you. Is there any other places they follow you at?
Nope. That's pretty much it. From there, you can kind of see me on, I have like Podbean and Locals and things like that, but it's easier just to kind of grab it right from my YouTube page.
Awesome. So, well, right on, Eric. I really appreciate it, man. This is awesome.
Thanks so much for having me on again.
Hey, no worries. All right. Well, with that being said, because we don't have our editor here, where's my editor? Oh, shoot. Now my computer's not working. The Economic Ninja is out. And with that being said, we awkwardly go over here. Everyone's laughing right now.
Okay. So, yeah, that happened. I don't know, man. ING. Training begin. Yeah, Peter Dragon. See, that was a great idea, man. I mean, you get those drivers, you get those crane operators, but I mean, how many are there? You know, I mean, contractual, that's even not the right word. Non-combat engineers in all the services. We put those guys all together. I don't know if there would be enough, but I mean, honestly, if you had, I don't know, if we put 10 on each coast, and I mean, it would help. It would definitely help. But once again, from what I understand so far, it has a lot to do with the space on the ground. And I don't understand how we got to this point. I don't understand how we got to the point where there's so many cans or containers on the ground and not moving, yet we have truck drivers showing up and sitting there all day long at the port who can't get a load and then driving away. That doesn't make any sense. It's like saying, hey, there's boxes of stuff over there, but none of you can put them on your trucks. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if someone's got an idea of how that is actually working, please tell me. I'll be happy to hear it. But it does not make any sense to me whatsoever. All right, let's go check out the old Twittersphere. Something's always happening there. Let's hit the old notifications button. There we go. What we got here? What's going on? We're going to scroll right past that because I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but I'm going to get right off of that so we don't get turned off. All right, urgent. Pileup crash reported on several vehicles on fire in Phoenix. Well, that's interesting. Let's just take a quick look at that.
What's going on here?
Emergency crews responds. Injured, pileup. 10 vehicles, 3 trucks are engulfed in flames. Updates to follow. Interesting.
What's going on here?
No bueno. All right, what do we got here? We're going to scroll right past that. All right, just in, U.S. Biden and China's key to hold virtual summit at end of this year. Yeah, that's going to be real useful. I think they need to be talking like right frickin' now. Roger that. We don't produce anything for 2 years to ship containers back. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. It's always, from the beginning of this, we've always known that the containers were always the issue. And I would think that they'd want their empty containers back. Because the ships show up, they want to port, they want to unload, they want to unload, they want to leave. That's how they make money. But even if they're only moving empty containers back to the point of origin, that's still something. Now, you're right, we don't produce anything. Well, I won't say that because before the old, before the whole virus thing, we produced just fine. We sent products all over the world, and yes, we're consumers. We consume everything we see, but we were still producing things. And I mean, even after this thing we're all going through, we still began to produce things. This thing is all snowballed from something, and it's nothing any one person can put their fingers on. Oh, it's the truckers, it's the shippers, it's the containers, it's the China. We're not producing anything. Maybe it's just this big wrapped up ball of crap that any one person could fix, but maybe no one can fix. Maybe this is, here, let me tighten that tinfoil hat. Maybe we're all getting pushed to a point where we would accept a great reset, to where we would accept, okay, we all recognize we have to change, and this is how we're going to do it. And everybody would accept it. They tried to They tried to do a lot of different stuff to us, and a lot of it didn't work. And now, oh my God, mysteriously there's a pill, so now we don't need the, you know. Let's see here. What are we writing here? I'm willing to bet it's cheaper for China to make new ones versus shipping empty ones back. Peter, actually, no, it's not. Shipping containers used to be able to buy a shipping container for about a brand new one for about $3,000. And you could get, because they have to be like certified, undamaged, shit like that, to move across to make the transatlantic passage. So if you got a damaged shipping container or seals aren't working on it right or whatever, it's downgraded, but it's still sold, and you used to be able to pick that up for $1,500 to $2,000. You know, now those things they're like gold. And there's so many of them that they don't need to make anymore. There's 3 very large shipping container companies. They're all in China. Now we do have 2 in the United States, but they will make a shipping container, but they stick to the specialty ones. What do we got here? Jack Lowe, welcome to the channel, bro. NAFTA started the downfall. I know, but that's years ago, dude. I mean, that's NAFTA, dude. You're talking what, 20 years ago? I mean, yeah, you're technically you're right, Jack. NAFTA did do it. NAFTA really messed a lot of things up. You know, I hate to say it, that was the beginning of the downgrade of production in the United States. So yeah, technically you're right. But, you know, I hate to say this, but this was all resolved when we had a different president. Whether we like it or not, the guy really did know his shit. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, there's really nothing else to do. I mean, well, obviously there's other things to do, but that involves a lot of things that we won't talk about here, that's for sure. What do we got here? New. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Anybody hear about it? I got a little tweet last night. Australia has ceased all foreign travelers entering the country of Australia until 2022. Yeah, isn't that special? Let's just lock our whole freaking country down. Let's see how that works for you, bro. Okay, what do we got here? Austrian Chancellor Kurz under investigation over corruption claims from the AFB. Say it isn't so. My guess is that's probably linked to the Pandora Papers. That's when the big plan was put into motion. Agreed. Let's start to do something. And I think that's you're right. Because there was no, you know, if you think about the North American Free Trade Agreement, it literally did nothing for the United States. It literally did nothing for the United States. And it was billed as this thing that was going to help everybody. We're going to help everybody. And it just screwed a lot of stuff up. So I think, you know, Jack is spot on the more I think about it. Let's see, what do we got here? Prepper Nation is shame on Fox News for focusing on the shooter's race and CNN for burying the story because he didn't fit their narrative. You are both the problem. Yeah, if you guys didn't know there was a shooting in Texas. I think Ted Cruz, and here it is. Yeah, I think that's the most we'll do about that. Subject from the Texas high school shooting is now in custody. They think they've actually found the gun. They say it was a .45 caliber. So, but he's absolutely right. I don't know about him focusing on his race. I could care less. But they did bury the story. I've literally seen nothing else on Twitter about this. I literally heard it on another news channel while I was out driving around earlier. What do we got here? It'll be interesting, Peter says, it'll be interesting to research if those 3 China companies are still producing containers. Yeah, let us know. I mean, I would do it, but it's just too much work. Where are we at here? 1 hour ago, just in, LA County Council approves COVID vaccine mandate for indoor spaces. We're not even going to cover that. It's so ridiculous. Let's see. Kidney, where are we at here? Votes against require Los Angeles City Council. This was 1 hour ago. LA City Council votes to require proof of vaccination for indoor restaurants. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Here, I'll show you something. New York City. Fail. Let's try that. Let's see what comes up. And tools. Let's go anytime. Let's go in the past week. Let's see what comes up with that. Vaccine passports destroying New York City restaurants. First of all, if YouTube is watching, I'm watching another video, and it's on your platform. So it's there. I expect this wouldn't be a problem. Also, it doesn't go against any of your guidelines. Yes, I have read them. There. Disclaimer out. All right, what do we got here? Come on now. Come on. Come on. All right. It's not going to load because I have the crappiest internet on the planet. Where are we at here? Corrected fast food change closed. Some indoor seating. No, that's not it. Where are we at here? Servers challenges ahead of local entries. Okay, I can't find it. But basically, last week there was a study that said that all the restaurants in New York City that are requiring the passport, which they're supposed to, they've taken a 60% loss in business just in that period of time. So I'm sure that story obviously has been buried. I can't find it. That should have been the first thing that popped up. All right, what else we got here? More alerts. More alerts. More alerts. We know about the truck fire. More truck fire. We already know about that. I see and can't find it now, but student was interviewed and said there was a fight that started the shooting. A fight. Well, listen, man. If the guy brought a gun, if the kid brought a gun to school, this was something more. This kid was scared. Kids don't bring guns to school. I mean, unless they're gangbangers and shit and they're stupid. But the average kid does not bring a gun to school unless he's scared. So more than likely, this will come out that he was being bullied by this, that, or the other person, and he was trying to defend himself. Whether he told anybody about it, I don't know. I mean, nobody knows. We'll find out in a week what really happened. But that's how that stuff happens. Book bag plus 45 caliber gun, normally equals scared of a bully. I'm sure the last thing the kid wanted to do was cause that problem. Did he go crazy? I don't know. I guess we'll find out tonight on the local news if they decide to tell us about it. But yeah, there's that. But it's pretty sad. It's really, really pretty sad. I really hate seeing stuff like that happening. So, all right. What else have we got here? Storm of Truth, Prepper Pantry, Walmart versus Aldi. I've seen that video. It's not that bad. But I think he's got another. I think they've got another one that's better than that. Where are we at here? Worldwide shipping crisis. That's our new one. We've seen that. We've talked about that already. Prepper haul off the pantry. Got a new video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be on where to find stuff that's just waiting for you to take. Once again, I think I just have to figure out the timing on it. Let's see, what else do we got here? Storm of Truth. Prepper Australia hits a food shortage in Australia. Say it isn't so. Let's just hit their YouTube channel. Go out there and give that a quick one. 226.
Welcome to Storm of Truth.
Now, I like what Storm of Truth is doing, but they have a completely different format. So let's give them a chance, and we'll hit that like button after we're done.
Like, share, and subscribe. This is a prepper warning for Australia and everybody else in the entire world that's watching. I firmly believe Australia is a
Turn my mic off real quick. Or maybe I'll turn it back on while this thing buffers.
This country,
Oh.
for everything that's going on right now with the food shortages and changing of the laws and everything else and our rights and our freedoms. Later on in the future, it's coming to the rest of us. First off, I'd like for everybody to pray for Australia. That's what they need the most right now. Especially with all the hardships and everything else that's going on with them. And I'm going to recommend all the Australians and everything to get all the medical supplies they can. If they can even find them right now and everything. And food. Dry beans, rice, anything else you can think of, oats, whatever you eat. For a just in case scenario. I've been reading up and I know what y'all going through. Y'all going through a lot. And a lot of it's mentally too. And y'all deserve a break. It's been put to you real hard. And anybody that don't know what's going on right now with Australia, I recommend you to go ahead and get on there and start checking to see yourself. Because it's going down there. Majorly. Something else too. Get you outdoor cooking stuff, anything you can think of. Portable stuff.
All right, that reminds me too. He's got that Dutch oven right there, Ozark Trails. That's Walmart. Did you know that you can buy a cast iron 3-pan set from Walmart for $20? They all come in the same box. They all nest together. Yeah, you might want to check that out. No, I'm not an affiliate. Won't make a penny. But I just remembered that. And then what you do is you just get your sander out. You get yourself a little orbiter or hand sander, and you sand the crap out of the cooking surface. And then that's when you start to season it. They say that that's the best way to turn it into a non-stick cast iron pan. All right, what do we got here? I see and can't find it now, but the student was interviewed. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Late to the party. Ronan, that's okay, bro. We still got another hour left on this party, at least. I got to start cooking around, I don't know, in about an hour. And but no, we're going to have some marinated pork chops. We're going to have some mashed potatoes and gravy, and we're going to have some. Oh my God! So has anybody ever heard of? Yeah, it's too late for Australia. I honestly, let me talk about that in a second, Peter. I want to go back to my good vibes feeling, and I'm going to cook some damn kale. Oh, my friend loves kale, and we went and got from the yard sales. There was a church group that was selling pepper relish. Apparently, pepper relish plus a specific way of cooking kale equals mental and gastronomical orgasm. So I've got to cook the kale, and we're going to eat it That's going to be a vegetable, and, well, I'll let you know how it works out, because it's hard to believe, but you know what? It's also hard to believe that there's so many things that America has forgotten that are super awesome. But anyway, back to Australia. Well, first let's look at, I'm going to go ahead and just give old, what do we got here? Storm of Truth a thumbs up, because I think they got it. They reminded me that they got their dehydrator on the counter too. Oh, Ronan, you've had the pepper relish before? Maybe when I get up here, I'm going to take a break here in a couple of minutes, but maybe when I get up, I'll go get it. I'll show it to you. But anyway, yeah. Like I was saying before, Australia has basically no foreign visitors in this. Does anyone have or use a kerosene heater? 1 second, Jack. Australia, I've made a video. Look through there. I think it's called like Australia Cannot Fall. Australia was formed when the people decided this is bullshit. When the government was going crazy, obviously they were a British colony at one time, a penal colony, but they just took over. All the people with guns, you know what? You can't kill us all, and they started taking the soldiers' guns. The next thing you know, they're an armed resistance. Next thing you know, they have their own country. And they were doing just fine until they let the damn socialists in. And honestly, they were doing just fine until they gave up their damn guns. And that's where we're going to leave that, unless you guys want to talk about it more. I'll watch the chat. But does anyone have or use a kerosene heater? I have in the past. We will when the crash happens. Yeah, no, I don't. I have in the past. They are useful. If you want to be safe, get yourself a pan to put underneath them. They make them. And that's really about it. You know, most of them have tip sensors now, so they turn themselves off. A lot of them have overheat. And I think actually some of them have carbon monoxide sensors on them too. But I don't know. If you can find the older ones, they work great. Yeah, they're going to put a ring in your roof if you have them inside. But it's nothing a coat of white paint can't fix come summertime. I guess the big thing is just to be, make sure that you have enough fuel for those kerosene heaters. I believe it's, what is it? We just call it white gas. There's a lot of places around my other property that I can get white gas for really cheap at the gas station. A lot of gas stations in that area have that, where you can just pull up and glug, 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 fill your cans up instead of buying the tins. Well, then now you're talking about storage issues too, so make sure whatever you do, you can store it properly. Oh, and then I don't know much about long-term storage of white gas. I don't know if it goes bad. People say gasoline goes bad. You're right, it does after about 10 years. I used to own a bunch of very large boats, and the gasoline would sit in those boats for years. And all it does is smoke and stink, and you add more gas, and then that smoke and stink goes away. But anyway, yeah, that's the heater story. I plan on using just wood heaters. I'm probably going to have a small one installed in one of the two rooms. They're unbelievable. Just these micro wood stoves. They're very expensive. I've actually contemplated seeing about having one made professionally and how much that would cost. But honestly, believe it or not, you can make one out of a damn ammo can. I've actually seen where a guy put one inside his little RV, and it's just a matter of getting the exhaust plate and liner so that you don't burn your house down. But yeah, they do exist, and yeah, that's a neat little project. Anyway, so I worried about the natural gas prices this year. Oh yeah, well they said that basically anything that energy bill. Now we've entered, as far as electricity goes, we have entered that flex period. I don't know. Some people have flex plans on their power, where it's like during the summer the price is offset during the winter so that you don't pay as much during certain periods of time when you're using it. And you can determine whether you want to pay more during the winter or more during the summer. But this is that month. So I normally pay about 100 and I know on the one property I normally pay anywhere from $90 to $150 depending on how much the air conditioner runs during the summer. And then during the winter, it's only about $100. But we're in that flex period right now, and my bill is $19 for this month. So I expect it to go up big time next month, so that they can try to recoup what they're talking about. I even thought about a corn burner. I've got a week to decide. I've never heard of a corn burner. Let's corn heater. I'm going to call it a corn heater. We're going to Google that. Guide to corn stoves. Wow. Very, very interesting. What we got here? I mean, maybe this link can help you, Peter. This is the guide that pops up. I've never heard of a corn stove before. That's interesting in hell. Heat with the feed of dried corn kernels rather than wood or propane. Dried corn contains oil and ethanol. Okay, makes sense. It's combustible. Fire-produced corn stove may appear much smaller than that of the wood stove, but it's plenty capable of producing 60,000 BTUs. Wow. Wow, you have my attention, Paul. So you just use dried... I wonder if you could use... Is this deer corn? Let me know in the chat. Wow. The benefits of a corn stove. Low carbon emissions, less waste, more efficient, even temperature, easier to maintain. Wow. Wow, dude, you really sparked something here. Okay, price fluctuations. So you basically the how much corn costs. It's a different kind of heat. Corn stoves also work a little differently, which may take some time to adjust, blah, blah, blah. Don't get enough to cook, or if you're bacon and eggs on the stove kind of person, I don't know. Requires electricity. Okay, now that's interesting. I don't know that. Okay. Do require electricity to run, will produce a low hum while running. If you tend to experience blackouts in the winter, you must get a generator or store solar power to continue running the corn stove. Oh yeah, well I'm reminded, I don't know if you guys remember, but I bought that, Storm of Truth put me onto that $37 solar generator. And so I bought that. It was supposed to be here yesterday, and at 5:26, I get this message saying, "Oh, you can't, we can't deliver. We don't know where your address is. Your address is wrong." You know, and I'm like, so I had to call him this morning and say, I haven't moved. You guys deliver here all the time. You're wrong. Fix the problem. It's still not here. Anyway, so any corn, huh? Okay. I like that. Okay, so I mean, other than the drawbacks of it being electric and needing a generator or solar generator to run it, I mean, but I wonder how much. My guess is that it just needs the electricity to basically run some kind of feeder system, and it can't pull a lot of amps. I mean, I don't know, but it can't pull a lot of amps. That's really interesting. Let me drop this link in there for you, man, so that, I don't know. You said you had to decide. I don't know if you have the information, but hey, I just pulled it up. It's all yours. Now everybody knows what a corn stove is. I think it's pretty interesting. I guess the real question is can you put, I wonder if you can use those fire stove, they're not kernels, they're pellets. Yeah, pellet stove. I'm wondering if you can use pellets in a corn stove and vice versa. That would be an interesting concept. All right, let's go back to the old Twitter.
Welcome to Storm of Truth.
We already listened to Storm of Truth. You got my like today. Notifications. So here we go. What do we got? Tell me about the fire again. All right, what do we got here? Just in, Pakistan's foreign ministry says the alleged letter being spread on social media is fake and baseless tweets. What do we got here? Laugh out loud. Pakistan's foreign ministers crying in a letter to Pakistan's own ambassador to the USA for no phone call to Pakistan Prime Minister. U.S. You know, see, honestly, I would say that's probably real. I honestly would say that's probably real. Let's see if I don't know if we can zoom in or not. See how bad this really is. Everything else is zooming except for that. Oh, and it only let me go so far. See how? Yeah, no matter what I do, it's not going to let me. Dear Ambassador, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan expresses its concern over the inability of the Pakistan Embassy, Washington, in creating an environment to facilitate diplomatic communications between the office of the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the President of the United States. This sounds legit. In spite of the existing situation in Afghanistan and the key role played in Pakistan, it is unfortunate that the White House remains indifferent to the Pakistani leadership. Well, I mean, stop housing terrorists. Dude, we all know this shit. We had to go find Osama there. He was there. They found him. They killed him. Whatever. Prime Minister's office has taken a strong view to the fact that despite all efforts by Pakistan to establish a healthy line of communications between the White House, it is unable to see a meaningful reciprocity. Okay. This portrays the diplomatic overtures of Pakistan in a poor light, which unfortunately remains at the mercy of the immature understanding of the White House staff advising the U.S. president. You are thus expected to take adequate measures in ensuring that enough diplomatic steps are undertaken to guarantee the strategic relevance of Pakistan in the diplomatic forums. I see. So basically, they want us to talk nice about them in the UN. All right. Well, you know, is it real? I don't know. It could be. It looks like it's worded badly enough to be real. You know, these perfect documents, I don't know, man. I just don't know. But yeah, and Pakistan has always been like, look at me, I'm over here, look at me. And then people look at him, you're like, dude, you're like not a great nation, and you have really bad people doing whatever they want, and your intelligence service knows where all of them are, but you're not doing anything about it. So, yeah, that's Pakistan, and we'll just leave that there. Let's see what the old YouTubes are saying today. What do we got here? Distraction, whistleblower, bombshell, relevance, no one cares. I don't know if anybody watched her testimony yesterday. I started to, but after 5 questions about, I just brought you the documents, I don't really know anything, I was like, okay, whatever. White House press briefing live with Jen Psaki? I don't know. Let's drop in. It's probably, they're always late, so my guess is, it's 28 minutes long, and it's not. We'll begin shortly. Let's see what we can. This is stupid. Alright, so that tells me something happened. I don't know that it's anything mysterious. There's the live one. There we go. Okay, so they are live. We'll just turn the volume on that, and then we'll do something else that way when it pops up. What do we got here? We got some notifications on Getter. If you guys didn't see this before, this is a new social media platform where, it's like Facebook, but no crazy shit, and say whatever you want, and not locked up like the other one that started with a P. What do we got here? What's Newsmax saying? Oh yeah, this is just hilarious right here, man. This really has got to make you wonder. We'll see if that loads. I think the press briefing has got some sound now. What do we got here? Tinfoil hat anyone. This should be interesting. Come on, show me. Come on.
Hi, everyone.
Come on. You know what? We'll just pause here.
Hey. Okay, I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to make myself this really fashionable tinfoil hat so that y'all can call me crazy after this video.
All right, hold on. Let's let that buffer for a second, guys. That should be really, really funny. I love when everybody does the tinfoil hat thing. Where are we at here? All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to make myself this really fashionable tinfoil hat so that y'all can call me crazy after this video. However, what in the world? Why is Biden not doing press briefings at the actual White House? Why does he have to do them across the street in a studio? What's going on? This isn't normal. Okay, this is like the 3rd or 4th photo I've seen of him not in the White House doing press briefings. Does he not live there? Like, do they think we don't see the CGI rose garden behind him with like flowers in full bloom? It's not spring. We're not done. So I'm gonna go get my tinfoil hat. Y'all can get yours, and we can continue this conversation if you want. Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs and
That's too funny. That's too funny. All right, let's see what Open Saga's got.
Oh, what did you think was going to happen? I'm sorry to disappoint. Okay.
No, you're not.
Sorry to disappoint. You never know who's behind the door. Okay.
Someone told me on
Okay.
Twitter the other day they thought she was hot.
Tomorrow, just one item for all of you at the top. Tomorrow, the president will travel to Elk Grove Village, Illinois, a trip he had planned to do last week to meet with public and private sector leaders who have implemented vaccination requirements. The president will visit with a company local to the Chicago area that is imposing its own vaccine requirement ahead of the OSHA rule. The president's message will be clear. Vaccination requirements work. Vaccination requirements get more people vaccinated, helping to end the pandemic and strengthen the economy. That's why he's leading and implementing vaccination requirements for 100 million workers, 2/3 of all workers in the United States, and that's why we're seeing growing momentum for vaccination requirements across the sectors and across the country. Alex, go ahead.
Jen, I was hoping to get you to weigh in on 3 different debt limit scenarios since there's so many developing. So off the top, Senator Mitch McConnell has proposed for Republicans to either support a short-term hike in the debt limit through December or to support a expedited reconciliation process where Democrats would vote to hike it long-term. What's the White House response to that? Is there support for either of those from the president? And then I was hoping to get clarification on something the president said yesterday. He seemed to suggest that he would support a carve-out in the filibuster if all else fails to hike the debt limit. Is that where he stands? Would he be open to that?
Well, right now, and perhaps this is the awkwardness of 4:15 while people are still meeting on the Hill, right now Democratic members are meeting on the Hill to discuss options on the path forward. I think Republican members may also be meeting or discussing among themselves. My understanding at the point I walked out here is that there's been no formal offer made. A press release is not a formal offer. And regardless, even the scant details that have been reported present more complicated, more difficult options than the one that is quite obvious in the president's view and is in front of the faces of every member up on the Hill. We could get this done today. We don't need to kick the can. We don't need to go through a cumbersome process that every day brings additional risks. So they're discussing up there. We'll obviously be in close touch with them, as we will continue to be, and we'll see where we are at the end of today.
And then one foreign policy question. Does the White House have a position yet on the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which passed unanimously in the Senate? And just broadly in that same context, how do you respond to the criticism from Senator Rubio and some Republicans that the administration is sort of letting Beijing have some advantage on human rights abuses to try to win over their cooperation on climate issues?
Well, we would absolutely dispute that notion. Unlike the former president, this president has spoken out against human rights abuses, has raised his concerns about human rights abuses directly with President Xi, and we have done that at every level from our national security team. In terms of the legislation, obviously we have spoken out about our concerns of human rights abuses in Xinjiang, and I would also note that the president also led an effort to have coordination on the international stage to address this issue, unlike his predecessors. But I'd have to talk to our legislative team about specific views on the piece of legislation. I know I spoke to it briefly last week, but I'll come back to you with that. Go ahead, Steve.
Jake Sullivan reached a deal with the Chinese today for President Biden and President Xi to have a virtual summit before the end of the year. Do you see this happening around the G20 summit? And what's the advantage of them seeing each other face to face?
Well, as I understand it, what came out of the discussions was an agreement to continue dialogue at a very high level. So what we've said, of course, and we continue to believe, is that leader-level engagement is an important part of our effort to responsibly manage the competition with China, especially given the coalescence.
She's looking a little scared. What's something else just came in? Give me a second. All right. Yeah, that's not it. Prepper Hall, September. This one is actually from Australia. Survival. What just happened? I see. No. Where are we at here? The Republican governors flocked to the southern border today. That's hilarious. Not a border state, not a border state. Wrong border. 1, 2, 3 states. No border. what did you expect to happen? I mean, do you expect Ted Cruz to run back every single time they have a press briefing? I mean, come on, really? That's just stupid. Anyway, yeah, I look at a lot of different stuff. Prediction: Boris Johnson will be in prison before the end of the year, awaiting trial for crimes against humanity. Meaningful follow-up question: who will be alongside him? There's no telling, man. Boris, we thought Boris was the man, and now, yeah, not so much. What do we got here? This is ludicrous, murderous, for-profit, Davos man, global farce ends real soon. Time to find faith. No, it's okay. What do we got here? Stephen Crowder just got word that she finally passed. Literally took one last breath and just faded away. An unbelievably old bird. Oh, somebody died. Oh, Grandma. Sorry. Okay. What do we got here? We're not even going to talk about that. Get her. What do we got here? Okay. What is this?
Are we headed? So I'm interested in this as well, Jason, and that is with this. And by the way, good luck with your new platform. It sounds very exciting. Are we headed on the social media side in the same kind of way that cable TV sort of took shape, where you have a couple liberal, left-leaning cable TV stations and then one major right-leaning cable stations? Are we headed that way with the platforms such as Getter, where it becomes sort of a conservative alternative to the mainstream Facebook?
Another great question. Short answer is not if I can help it. This is part of the reason why I've made such a big push to try to bring Democrats and people from different worldviews on the platform. It's also part of the reason we've expanded so aggressively internationally. You know, we're at 2.5 million users. Half of those are in the U.S., half are around the world. Brazil is about 15% of our market. Japan is number 3 at about 10%. Then Canada, France, and the U.K. So this is truly a global platform. People all around the world are frustrated with big tech, but I want to make sure, I mean, my goal is ultimately I'd like to be bigger than Twitter, but I think that we can do it by having a free speech platform with a North Star that we're never going to cancel people for their political beliefs. Obviously, we have smart moderation policies and things like that to make sure that no beheading videos or pornography or illegal things get put on the site. But I want this to be a platform for anyone who believes in free speech and opposes cancel culture.
Very interesting. It'd be very interesting to see if Getter actually takes off or not.